But yeah, so we're going ahead. All right, and we are live. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, and Jew and Gentile. It is Craig Harris, the Messiah of Xbox, in the blue robe of knowledge gifted to him by the gaming gods themselves. I woke up one morning and it was over there shining in the corner. Wasn't on the chair, wasn't on the table, it was on the floor. I needed it. They wanted me to go get out of bed and pick it up. That was an insult, but I am here and it keeps me warm. But I am joined here today. Welcome to Craig's Corner. And I am joined by a special guest. It is Sick Humor. He knows the tech end, he knows the business end, and he knows the gaming end too. So Sick, brother, go ahead and give yourself a big shout out, man.
Absolutely. Craig, I definitely do appreciate you inviting me to the show. I'm glad to be here. Woo! Let's get into this shit, man. All of the saltiness, all of the crying, the hypocritical analogies, all of this game is garbage, this game is crap, all of the Sea of Thieves is going to get Game of the Year, all of that wrapped into one, man. That's what we need to talk about here today.
Yeah, and we're going to go into that. We're going to do the all things Spider-Man as far as we know, because they're going to announce more information at later dates and stuff like that. We do know that it's coming with some stuff, but I want to go into more about, for the people who don't understand the deal that Sony has with Spider-Man when it comes to the shared universe with Marvel. There's just, from the Xbox community, there's a fundamental misunderstanding on how Sony is in control of this IP versus how it used to be when they did, like, I don't know, they did another Spider-Man game that was multi-plat. And as you all can see, I'm pulling this out of the comic book. I'm not on a game site, because I want everybody to know the comic book world lit up. After this got announced, I turned off my phone Twitter thing, because so many people were tweeting about this and getting a lot of direct messages. And there's just a baseline fundamental misunderstanding. So we'll go more into that. Definitely, we'll go into the absolute, like I said on Twitter yesterday, if you all missed it, I said Noah's Ark would not survive the moisture coming out of the Xbox community because of this. And so we're going to talk about the hypocrisy and why. I think we want to both ask everybody, and we want to try to explain to everybody why this is happening, and so we'll go more into that. So, and then we got I got a trade-in story that I saw happen with my own two beady eyes as Messiah. I couldn't believe I was looking at. And if somebody had told me this would have happened in October, I would have lost money. I would have been like giving Porter Rock money like those suckers did on the multiplayer podcast. But we'll go ahead and get into it here, Sick. First things first, the September announcement, in your opinion, good, bad, indifferent. How do you think this works long term, and what do you think the long term plan is here for Sony with this game?
I think it's absolutely amazing that they're releasing this in September. They're definitely no pun intended. I think it's a very good date because it gives you time to get through the God of Wars. It gives you time to get through the Far Cries. If you're playing that, it gives you time to get through the Detroit Become Humans, only to meet Spider-Man September 7th, and then Red Dead comes out after that. So this year for PlayStation gamers is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be phenomenal. You're getting the best of both worlds, and you're getting exclusive experiences that you can't find anywhere else. And the great thing that I love about this, and this is one of the reasons why I got the collector's edition of Spider-Man, is simply because it shows that they will be supporting this game after the initial purchase. They have 3 story chapters that will come post-launch as DLC content. So it looks like this game is going to be something that they support for a long time to come. And I think this is only going to open doors for other things. One more thing I want to touch on, Craig, and then I'll shut the hell up because I'm not trying to talk too much. But
go ahead, bro. That's why you're here today, man.
I want to touch on why this game is exclusive to Sony's
that's
platform.
fine. Absolutely. Right? Go ahead.
So what people don't realize is that Sony owns the intellectual property and movie rights for Spider-Man, right? Now Marvel owns like I think the video game aspect of it, and also like toys and shit, like merchandise. They own that portion of Spider-Man. Now Sony allowed Spider-Man to be in that Avengers movie, right?
Correct.
And in making that deal, Sony was like, hey, we want to make a Spider-Man game, but we want it to be exclusive to our platform. So they made that deal, and that's what it is. Now, people are wondering whether or not this game is ever going to go to the Xbox or PC and shit like that. It's never happening. Insomniac Games has already solidified that game will never, ever, ever go to another platform. But is that a bad thing? I don't think that's a bad thing. And the reason why I don't think that's a bad thing is because it gives consumers a reason to buy one product over another. It is healthy for competition. And if Microsoft was smart, instead of trying to hang on the coattails of Sony, they would go and create their own superhero IP, or they would go and try and get the rights to some form of superhero IP. Black Panther is the biggest fucking superhero at this point. Wouldn't that be one of the characters that you would want to make a game out of? You know what I'm saying? Isn't that something you would want to put money behind? But no, Microsoft ain't doing that. The Incredible Hulk, that would be good for Xbox because of the whole green thing with Xbox. You know what I'm saying?
That's good for one. Yeah.
That would be a great idea.
Yeah.
But let me tell you what they're going to do, Craig. And this is my observation, because like I said, it almost seems like Microsoft is just trying to be included in the conversation. Xbox fans, do not worry. You will get a Spider-Man game, right? It's going to be an old game. It's going to be a backwards compatible game. It's not going to be the Spider-Man PS4 game, but you're going to get a Spider-Man game, because that's the most that Xbox can do right now, is provide you some backwards compatibility game, and they might even give it to you for free with Games with Gold. You know what I'm saying? And they might do that simply because you guys don't have access to the Spider-Man game and you really want it. So prepare for that. I'm telling you right now, it's going to happen.
That's surprisingly observant. I didn't even think about that. So with the digital, we'll go back. The digital deluxe edition, which is $80. Now it says this will include a copy of the game. I guess that's a big deal now. I guess I thought all deluxe editions came with a copy of the game, but it says that the post-launch DLC, this is what you were just talking about, the city that never sleeps, and it says that's right, we'll be supporting the game post-launch. You'll be getting 3 new chapters, each with new missions, new villains and characters, and additional suits. So this is going to come with the digital deluxe edition. Am I understanding that correct? This is if you get the base edition, deluxe edition. But you're going in for the goodies with the collector's edition, right? Or did you just settle with the deluxe?
Okay. No. The collector's edition, because I want the steelbook, first of all. I want to have that. Okay. I also want to have the Spider-Man figurine. I also want, because they are offering the 3 DLCs with it as well. And also they're giving you an art book. I have an art book for Last of Us. None of you guys probably never seen this before, but it's a art book and it's full of all of the designs and everything for The Last of Us. It shows how they started the game. It gives you lore on the game. This book is amazing, and somebody actually gifted me this at my job. They gifted me this for a Secret Santa type deal, because they knew I love video games and shit, and they knew that I love the fucking Last of Us. And they gave me this book, Craig. I promise you, if you would have seen this book is so fucking amazing. But that's the reason why I want the art book for Spider-Man, because I know it's gonna have information on the different characters and stuff, and it's gonna have stuff dealing with the lore of it and how the development process went, showing basically what the game looked like before they actually put the skins on the enemies and stuff like that. So I can't wait for it, man. I'm already good to go. It only cost $150. I'm good.
Well, yeah. Now I did highlight something over here, but shout out to the people in the chat. My God, I can't see the chat because I'm looking at the screen here. Certainly hope you all can see this up on the screen. This over here on the right-hand side, Spider-Man PS4, Mary Jane playable will surprise a lot of people. Now, who knows what you'll be doing, but the fact that this is another playable character, who knows? Like I said, she may be shopping for groceries for all I know. So, but but the fact that's going to come with the regular edition. Also, for all of you folks that are hungry, $1.67 a pound, Heritage Farm boneless chicken, ladies and gentlemen. You can't beat that. Oh crap! I touched it. Now everything's going haywire here. But yeah. So we'll. So you got the 150 edition of the game, and that's the one. Let me tell you my quick story. This is for the people in the chat. Oh, for pity's sakes, I clicked on that thing. All right, there we go. All right. So I go, after they announced this, I hooked it up to GameStop, got my headset on, listening to my Tribe Called Quest, because that's the way I bump it, old school style. And I get up there, and there's 5 people in the store. Well, 7 with the 2 employees. I shit you not, Sick, and this is what the people in the chat too, 2 people trading in their Xbox X's. Shit you not. Getting PlayStation Pros and with their in-store credit bought Spider-Man and then said they would use the rest of the money and they bought the gift cards. True story, and I wish I didn't have the ability to pull my phone out and take pictures. But just the effect that this game is having, some people deciding to get the sponge out, not be moist no more, and actually go out and do something. So, but you're going to start seeing a lot of that. And a lot of people putting those X's for sale. Just know in my city, they're starting to be traded in. You all know I peruse my pawn shops looking for good deals. And sure enough, there's several sitting in there at one of our major ones. But I see that you're getting the still a Comic-Con and get something that will be worth some big money. And also that it's not gonna, they're not gonna have a whole lot of collector's editions apparently. So so big shout out to you on that one.
Oh, absolutely.
Sick.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had to get it, bro. Like there's no way, and I'm gonna do an unboxing for it as well. But there was no way that I wasn't going to get the collector's edition. It looked amazing. Like I said, I've been hyped for Spider-Man for a long time. I'm right now, I'm itching to play freaking God of War, bro. Like I just can't wait to get my hands on that game.
Well, God of War ships. What they gotta say? When are we getting that? Is that the 24th or
Nope.
something like that? The 20th?
The 20th. Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, it ships on the third Friday. It actually ships on Friday the 13th. As far as it's shipping, it should be in stores by Monday. So, to be sold Thursday night at midnight. I assume there's a midnight release. But let me ask you, why do you think there's so much? I don't know how to put it. It's salt, rage, anger, malcontent coming out of some people in the Xbox community. I got my own theory, but what exactly is your theory?
Because they're not truly happy with what they've been given with the Xbox One X.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That whole power narrative, that shit wears off extremely fast when you realize that everything that you have on your platform can be played on another platform. And also the best versions of the multi-platforms aren't even on the Xbox One X. They're on the PC.
Yeah.
And
that's true.
The PC has all of your games. The PC has all of your games. So it's like What do you really have to be happy about? You know what I'm saying? And then you see this other platform over here, which you feel is not as powerful as your platform, but they're getting all of these beautiful looking games, and you're getting 4K chickens.
And pigs.
Yeah. And that's the ultimate truth though, Craig. That's the ultimate truth.
Yeah.
If they were so happy with their console, you wouldn't see them trying to fight the good fight in every comment section. You wouldn't see that shit. You know why? Because they would be busy enjoying what they purchase. The simple fact
Yeah.
is that they're not.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty. I mean, the thing is like on Monday, I said it was going to happen. It's like I didn't realize it was going to be this salty though. Like I said, the Noah's Ark wouldn't survive the flood of moisture coming out of these guys, and it really did kind of take me back. Like the tweet. Did you see the tweet to actual Insomniac Games?
Yes, I did.
I mean that. Yeah, for all you all who don't know this, somebody tweeted it. The game looks different. Has it been downgraded and it doesn't play as smooth? What happened? And all Insomniac did was the response was, "You're wrong on both fronts," and that was it. That was it. No more tweets from Insomniac. Drop the mic and walk.
Hold on. There was another person who said, "When is this coming to Xbox?" And Insomniac said, "Very simple and plain, never." Same thing that the MLB The Show guy said. Never.
Yeah. Oh, what's up, Trey BK? What's happening? Yeah, and people, you got to understand. Yeah, Sony's deal with Disney, it's not as complicated as people are wanting to make it. And basically, Sick is right. They have Sony still controls everything with Spider-Man, so it doesn't matter if it's Green Goblin or Hobgoblin or the glider that the Goblin has, Venom, Carnage. You all can look up Venom. You can look up who's producing Venom, and it will say Sony Pictures. Now, I think it's going to be distributed through Columbia, which is owned by Sony.
Absolutely.
Now Marvel, I think Kevin Feige is producing. Again, that's out of Marvel because, like Six said, the shared arrangement is that Spider-Man is supposed to appear in like 3 movies with Marvel. Now he's already this. Avengers Infinity War is his 3rd movie because he was in Civil War, and he had his own Homecoming movie, and now he's in Infinity War. So I don't know if it was 3 movies or 5 movies or something like that. So, but they own the IP. So Sony, in order for the game to come to Microsoft or PC, but let's just say Microsoft would have to go to Sony and request the IP, in which Sony's going to say no. But their business, I mean, when Microsoft comes back with whatever, Sony will say, well, what are you going to give us? And then Microsoft would have to come back with, we'll give you this. And Sony says, no, we want that. Because Microsoft is not, in this case, with this intellectual property, they're not in any positions of power. And I did see they tweeted out how many hours people have been on Xbox Live.
But Craig, why is it so important to have Spider-Man? There's millions of other superheroes out there that the Xbox could have. Why is Spider-Man so important? It seems to only be important because you don't want Sony to be able to say, this is something that only I have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because instead of bitching and moaning about Spider-Man, go to Fox and say, well, no, not Fox no more. Who owns it? Is it Disney that owns like the X-Men and shit like that?
Oh, Fox still does right now. Yeah. They can get. Well, there's been Deadpool video games that are multi-plat.
No, didn't Fox sell their stuff to
Disney?
They're
trying to. Yeah, they're trying to, but it's on hold because Comcast bought Sky. So Disney's going to have to offer more money for those IPs, which they'll pay it probably. They don't want to, but ultimately, I think they'll get to Disney. It's just going to take them longer than anticipated. They were anticipating this time next year, and it's looking now like late 19, early 20.
Well, so either way, go to Fox and say, Fox, let us get somebody from the X-Men universe, get Wolverine, get Cyclops, get them all, really. Get whoever the fuck. Get something that gives you a reason to want to buy an Xbox. There's literally no reason to buy an Xbox right now. None whatsoever. I don't know anybody who could think of just one reason to go and buy an Xbox.
I don't. You're right.
No, give me one reason, Craig. Not even on no fanboy shit. Just one reason why I need to pick up an Xbox.
Well, I mean, if you want to invest in that ecosystem and you do not have the money to go ahead and snatch up a PC. I mean, when I was out walking, Best Buy is the hub that I'm in. There's a Best Buy, there's a GameStop, and I walked into Best Buy and looked at their computers, just their towers, okay, not their monitors. A tower with it had a Ryzen core, Ryzen 5. It had a 580 GPU. I think it had 8 gigs of RAM, and it was put together. It was a pre-put together tower. They wanted like over $800 for it. So if you don't have that extra cash, sitting around, the Xbox does provide you a way to, and so does the PlayStation, but the Xbox does provide you a way. You can just come home, plug up your power and your HDMI cable. You just play. That's about the only thing I can think of is convenience.
What if I told you, Craig, that you can go and buy a GTX 1070 for like $250?
Gears. Yeah, you can play Gears on PC.
What if I told you can get a 8350, a AMD 8350, FX 8350 for $50 to $100, right? And the rest is history with everything else. What if I told you that you can buy a complete system for like $500 that would outperform the Xbox One X?
Does that include the monitor?
Nah, it doesn't include the monitor, but you would definitely have a HDMI port to hook it up to your TV.
Right. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, then that's a better deal in my opinion. If it already has like the OS on it and stuff like that, then yeah.
If you own the Xbox One X for power, then you're very much interested in PC gaming.
Yeah. Yeah. and again, the games that I've seen, and like I said, my niece came over one day with my brother. He's a firefighter. He's a trained observer, and he looked at Rise of the Tomb Raider on the Pro and on the X, and they both said, "Look, the Xbox version looks brighter." I mean, that's their words. And then with Assassin's Creed, my brother was like, well, the scenes where they're talking to each other, the cut scenes, he said, those do look better on that Xbox. He said, but the game, when you're playing it, looks the same. And he said, at night, you can't tell the difference. So at least he couldn't. He's a trained observer. So, and that's, so it's crazy.
Well, no. You know what? Let me ask you a question, Craig. Why is it, right?
Yeah.
Why is it, would you think, that the PlayStation would not be able to render the cutscenes at the same frame rate than the Xbox One version? Why is it, do you think, that Witcher has HDR on the Xbox but not on the PlayStation? Why do you think that is?
Oh yeah, that I don't know. I mean, it's but I thought Witcher did get an update to HDR on PlayStation.
It did not.
Oh, it did not. Okay. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know The Witcher came out almost 3 years ago. So
it's called exclusivity for Microsoft. That's the only way they could differentiate this version of the game from the other version of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, well, hell, even then, didn't Digital Foundry say that the PlayStation version and a lot of the scenes held up? It's just that the Xbox was more stable. They said. I mean, that's what I remember, but I could be wrong. But yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, that's a good point. I'll shout out to Fatal. He said Titanfall 2 is on sale for $8.
It is. But if you wanted Titanfall, if you truly wanted Titanfall, you would have owned it by now.
Yeah. Yeah,
Titanfall has
$8
been
up.
no, it's been super cheap way before the sale now. Like, it's been dumb cheap. I think that game like got chopped in half as far as the price goes, like immediately after it released. Like it just wasn't doing very well.
Yeah. Then OBJ the Don said the Witcher HDR is coming, but our 6 point is that why isn't it already there? You know, it should already be there.
Well, here's another one for you, Craig. Remember when CD Projekt Red said they were not interested in doing any other versions of this games, like no pro enhanced versions or nothing like that? But as soon as the Xbox got announced, and all of a sudden they did the pro version. Why do you think that is, Craig? I mean, it's a real simple answer to why. But
that I believe that Microsoft did something, because I remember Witcher 3 being marketed by Microsoft. I remember going to Hardee's and it had a Witcher cup.
Absolutely.
So it's an Xbox on it. So
absolutely. If people don't believe that Microsoft, their marketing deal is what is the reason why PlayStation does not have HDR, then something is wrong with you. If you truly don't believe that, that patch is probably going to come out a year after the Xbox One X version released due to that marketing deal. They have pretty much the same structure with these machines. They're pretty much working with the same fucking hardware. How is it that you could do it for one but not do it for the other? Why is it that the PlayStation version does not have a 1080p build to it with 60 frames per second? There's no other answer to that other than the fact that Microsoft decided that they would buy exclusivity to these features.
Yeah, I mean, when you put it like that, it's yeah, I can't really deny that.
Nobody can deny it. I mean, people will say exactly what you just said. Well, go ahead and prove it. How do you prove it when it's very clear? I mean, it's very clear what's going on.
Yeah.
Because CD Projekt Red, CD Projekt Red was not interested at all in doing a pro enhanced version until the Xbox was slated to be released. Is that a coincidence? That's not a fucking coincidence. That's what happened. They did not want the PS4 Pro version to outshine the Xbox One S, knowing that they had the marketing deal with CD Projekt Red. Plus, CD Projekt Red and Microsoft, they have a good relationship. I wouldn't be surprised if CD Projekt Red actually gets the marketing rights to that Cyberpunk 2077 game. I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I'm saying?
It's just like with EA having a good relationship with Microsoft. You know, it's just they have a better working relationship with Microsoft than they do Sony. And that's why I tell people, like, that's why Battlefield and Madden, that's EA, and that was marketed by Xbox. When I heard people saying Xbox doesn't have any marketing deals, I'm like, bullshit. Those are Madden's the only football game, and they got the marketing deal too.
Absolutely.
So they're not being honest with you guys. So with the Salt coming out, go ahead.
1 second, Craig. Now, let me bring another thing to your attention, because I'm always looking at this shit and I'm always thinking to myself, how is it that nobody sees this? Why do you think it is, right, that on all the games that have marketing deals with Microsoft, right, Assassin's Creed Origins and NFL Madden, why do those both suffer from the cutscene issues? Where the cutscene runs a little bit better on the X. Is that coincidence? Yeah. Two totally different types of games now. These are not even in the same genre. But you mean to tell me that this is an absolute coincidence? What Microsoft knew is there would be no differentiating factor because PlayStation is already capable of running this game at 4K 60.
Yeah. Well, because the football game runs at 60 on the Pro until the cutscenes, when it shows a player getting up off the ground or something like that. you get a slight drop, but it doesn't affect the it doesn't affect the cinema look, you know, but you can see he's getting up a little bit slower. I'm thinking, well, he's getting up in my mind is telling me he's getting up slower because he just got robbed by one of those safeties or something like that. Like, yeah, you're gonna get up a little bit slower, you know. So, but nah, yeah, what you're saying makes sense. You know, you're connecting the dots there. Yeah, it's all I have to say is, look, if it's true, that's sorry. That's all I can say. That's sorry that they're gimping one version over that. And again, if that's true, I hope you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I hope you're wrong.
Here's the thing, Craig. I might be wrong. This is just my observations. This is just what I'm seeing and what I'm making out of the situation, because nothing about it makes sense. Nothing whatsoever.
You're right. You're right. You're right. I can't deny it. I mean, I'm sitting here like with my hands out, like I didn't even think about something like that. You know, it wouldn't shock me. But let me ask you: do you think Sony is being anti-consumer with releasing Spider-Man on only their platform? What is your no fanboy? Nothing. What do you think?
All right. Absolutely not. I think they're being pro-consumer to people who chose to support their product.
Right.
If you're saying that Sony is being anti-consumer, then that just means that you're being anti-Sony. Think about it.
What do you mean by that?
They do not want to support Sony and buy Sony's product, but they want the product that Sony is offering. You're being anti-Sony. It's not that Sony is being anti-consumer, because if you ask any PlayStation person how they feel about what Sony is doing, they're going to say Sony doing a great job, especially releasing the games that they're releasing. The only people who think Sony is anti-consumer is salty-ass Xbox who just want the games that Sony is putting money behind and creating with their team of developers.
Yeah, now do you think that's because when they bought, you mentioned they're not happy with what they got. Buyer's remorse. A couple of Xbox guys last night, again, shout out to Jay Wags, they said buyer's remorse. You finally get them to admit it when you start tearing down the wall, you know. But all right, so do you think part of it is kind of like what Jabba the Hutt said on Multiplayer Podcast, that the Xbox X was going to be, I mean, this is a quote, the Xbox X is going to be, the graphics on the games are going to be so much better that the PlayStation community was going to bail on the PlayStation. They were going to all go out and buy the X, and then the developers will go. That's not happened. I mean, the X is 6 months old today or this weekend, and it's not even threatening an NPD win. I mean, it's not even close, you know. So do you think that there's just I kind of lost my train of thought. All right, do you think that they thought because the X was going to be very powerful, everything was going to look and run better, they just assumed that all these games would just come to their platform? Do you think that could be, it sounds stupid as hell, but do you think that's part of what they could be going through?
Well, here's the thing. They got excited with Crash Bandicoot, Hellblade, and No Man's Sky, but what they failed to realize is that No Man's Sky was never an exclusive. It was always on PC. Hellblade was never an exclusive. It was always on PC. And Crash Bandicoot was never exclusive. Matter of fact, the case never said only on PlayStation. Never did. So the thing is, they figured since those games came over, and those were console exclusive to PlayStation, if that's the term that, you know, people want to use these days. They felt like every game is going to come. But what y'all need to realize is Sony knows exactly what they're doing. Sony said they're going to double down on first-party games. Why do y'all think that is? Sony is going to keep their foot on Microsoft's neck, and they're going to keep doing it by making sure that they have great exclusive content for the people who, buys into the PlayStation ecosystem. Now, is that bad? Is that anti-consumer? No, Craig, what I said, and I mean this with a passion. I mean this. I even said this in my podcast. I said, I wish EA or Microsoft would get with EA and buy Anthem. Give
I heard
EA,
you say that.
Yeah. Give
EA
EA
expounds on that. Yeah, expounds on that.
Give EA $150, $200 million. You know what I'm saying? Give them that.
Yeah.
Tell them that you want Anthem to be exclusive to the Xbox platform, not on PC, not on PlayStation, exclusive to the Xbox platform. I don't think they'll have a problem.
So S version and an X version. Okay. All right. Keep going.
And I don't think that they would have a problem with that. And I wouldn't personally have a problem with that. As a matter of fact, I want to play Anthem. That would make me say, you know what? I'm going to keep my X. I'm going to keep my X because I know Anthem is coming strictly to Xbox, which I would then think would be a very good reason to continue owning an Xbox, knowing that you have games coming in the future that's going to be specifically built and designed around the Xbox. You know what I'm saying? That would entice people to buy your console. But telling people that they could have the best version of multiplats when people don't give a fuck about that. You know how many people don't care about graphics? The minority of people, you know what I'm saying? The minority of hardcore gamers give a fuck about graphics. Everybody else just want to play games. Shoot, my son's be in there playing some game called Don't Bite Me or whatever the fuck that shit is. And it literally looks like Minecraft. They don't give a fuck about graphics. The average casual gamer. Yeah.
We played that when I was a kid. They said we were really trying to bite each other. We were like, what are you doing? Don't bite me.
But the average consumer don't care about graphics the way that Xbox people think people care about graphics. They ran with the power narrative thinking that that was going to change the landscape of things. It changed nothing. You know why? Because that graphics and power shit only matter in the beginning. That shit matters when you're coming from one console and going to the next console. When you're coming from one console like the PS3 and going to the PS4, you want to marvel in the big ass leap. You know what I'm saying? That graphics have taken. But in the middle, close to the end of the generation, that was just a waste of money. I still to this day believe that the Xbox One X was a waste of money and fucking time because it came at the end of the generation when things are winding down and getting ready to go over to the next consoles that are being introduced. I mean, that's just fact.
That happened. He's right. That happened with TVs when the 720p TV was out, and then the 1080p TV came out. There was a reason why when you went to the store, they displayed them next to each other so that you could see a difference, and that was at the beginning. Now you don't see it as much. I mean, you don't hardly see it. You see 1080p next to 4K, but you don't really see 720p anymore because that was what in the 2009 maybe, that around that area, 07, 09 area when that was happening. So it's been a while. So
but you know what I noticed though, Craig? I noticed that Xbox fans get mad when you tell them you don't care about their power. That makes them
the power's in the ecosystem of games, like you said.
Yeah, but they get mad when you tell them that you don't give a fuck about the power of the X. You tell them that you don't give a fuck that Far Cry is 4K on Xbox and like 1620 on the PlayStation. They get mad when you say you don't give a fuck about that. But then again, they turn around and tell Microsoft that they're doing everything right, that you're not doing anything wrong. Yeah, exclusives are anti-consumer. Yeah, everybody should be able to play everything. No, the fuck they shouldn't. You think you should be able to go to, and I don't know who made this analogy. I know I've heard it from several different people, but you don't go to Burger King expecting to get a Big Mac.
Oh yeah, I said that.
That was you? Okay. But that's true. That's the truest statement. The reason why the Big Mac exists and the reason why the Whopper exists is to give you a reason to go to those restaurants. That's the reason.
You can go there and get fries and a shake from both McDonald's and Burger King, but you can't go to McDonald's and get a Whopper. That you gotta, exactly right. And you don't see them out there bitching because that, or they're not at the Apple store bitching that Apple won't put its OS on Android. Because in order for you to enjoy the Apple OS, you need to be in the Apple ecosystem. Doesn't matter if it's their phone, their Mac, their iPad. You can't. I don't understand. I mean, somebody, but I think you're right. They think that they're entitled. I mean, I've never heard so much entitlement in my life when I heard somebody saying that, well, my friends are on Xbox and I should not have to play on PlayStation to play with them with this game. I call bullshit on that, because there's nothing preventing you. There's nothing preventing you, the consumer, from going to get a PlayStation, except you. You're the one who doesn't want to go buy one. Therefore, it's not anti-consumer. You know what I'm saying? So,
I've heard an analogy for that too. Somebody said, but if I have an Android phone, I don't need an Apple phone to call an Apple phone. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're talking about being able to communicate on devices that are specifically made for communicating, and you want to equate that to being able to crossplay with people that you claim that you don't care about playing with. Come on, man.
And not only that,
cut it the fuck out.
What we mean, let me explain that. Apple has certain apps that only run on its OS, and Android has certain apps that run on its OS. Most of them run cross, but there are some, I know, like a lot of the DJ apps and stuff like that, that's Apple based. A lot of your graphical apps, Apple based. They don't run on Android. So is that anti-consumer, or is Apple saying we're giving you access to 90% of what you can get on Android, except we're gonna keep these for ourselves. You have to be in our ecosystem. It's the same with Sony, but I don't know how they get tagged. I mean, is it anti-consumer that Avengers Infinity War is coming out and Batman and Superman are not in it? No. It doesn't. One is Marvel, one is DC. If you want to go see Batman and Superman, you have to go see a DC property movie. Fact. Is that anti-consumer?
Absolutely.
So I get what you're saying there, Sick, and I think me and you were in the same. We at the same bar knocking them back on that, because I don't see how we got. I mean, you remember the days. You're old enough to remember the Nintendo 64 and the Sega Genesis and all that kind of stuff. Or just, whatever.
Absolutely.
It was never anti-consumer then. It was never anti-consumer.
Here's the thing, right? I remember those generations very clear, right? So back in the days, I used to always be behind like one generation. So when the Sega and the Super Nintendo came out, I was still playing the regular Nintendo. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When the Nintendo 64 and original PlayStation came out, I was still playing Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo. But here's what happened, right? So I've had a lot of friends that I used to go to their house and play their video games. So let's say I have the Sega Genesis, they have the Super Nintendo. We were never sitting there arguing about which one looks better or what is this and what is that. No, I would bring my Sega Genesis and we would fucking play both systems. That's just how it would go. You know what I'm saying? In this day and age, everybody wants everything in one fucking place. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, that's you being anti-business. You know what I'm saying? That's you being anti, let's just say anti-Sony or anti-Xbox. When Sunset Overdrive came out, when Rise came out, when Dead Rising came out, I bought an Xbox to play those games. I didn't sit back and say, damn, Microsoft, when is this shit coming to Sony's platform? That's the most retarded thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. That's dumb. It's dumb. It's the stupidest thing ever. You don't go to Nissan to buy a Toyota. You don't go to Mercedes to buy a fucking BMW. You just don't fucking do it. You don't do it. It's not something that's going to fucking happen. I mean, dude, it just doesn't make sense to me. This entire situation is ass backwards. You're sitting up here blaming Sony for you not having games, but you're not willing to blame Microsoft for you not having games. Microsoft is the reason why you're crying about Sony games. Microsoft is the reason why instead of calling God of War, you call it Dad of War. You know what I'm saying? Detroit Become Human. They called that the domestic violence simulator. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Like, y'all retarded. And then I heard that I was a schizophrenic because I wanted to play God of War, which in itself doesn't make sense if you know what someone, if you know about somebody who has schizophrenia. That was the dumbest statement that was ever made. But again, these people talk before they even think about what the fuck they're saying. I mean, so it's quite clear that they're really fucking salty, and today has exposed them to the max. Today has showed, I was actually surprised at all of the butt hurtness that I saw, because I think you made a tweet. I think it was either yesterday or something. It was maybe before yesterday, but you said, damn, when that Spider-Man release date get revealed, oh boy, we gonna see a lot of moistness out here. And I was just like,
it's like I said, my rain boots, I need to go put on my yellow rain boots and get me a rubber duck. Those motherfuckers are so moist on that damn Twitter. They've got to I don't disagree with you, because I just it's almost like they're mad. It's like, okay, they're mad that the games aren't coming out to that platform. So the fact that they've got to get to a point where they're talking about DV simulator, domestic violence simulator, and schizophrenia, but yet if those games, if they're both going to go to the Xbox, they would be doing cartwheels and backflips and wanting to go to Dairy Queen and IHOP and take their families. I mean, I agree with you, man. I mean, I can't make an argument against it, because that's what I'm seeing. And I'm also sick. You see something. I mean, you see the collation of Sony announces an exclusive game. It immediately gets downgraded. Then once it comes out that it's not downgraded, then it's, oh, well, it's no release date. Then it gets the release date, and then it's, oh, well, nobody's going to be wanting to play that anyway. And have you seen that type of thing going from the Xbox community? Because that's what I see. I literally see it's a repeat. It just happened with Detroit. It happened with God of War, and now it's happening with Spider-Man. The same tweets, downgraded. Hey, you all don't have anything. Oh, look, somebody just tweeted, well, you all still have to wait 6 months for it. So what? I mean, you were just tweeting out there's no release date. Now here's a release date. Oh, you still got to wait.
You want me to tell you something sad, Craig? I'm going to tell you something sad, Craig. God of War has a release date. Detroit Become Human has a release date. Spider-Man has a release date. When is Crackdown coming out?
Well, according to K Mega, in June.
Nah, I'm not going according to K Mega. I mean, I need something that I can visually look up. I can actually see from the
okay. Well, then, yeah, I can't answer that. Maybe we get an announcement at the Xbox Access, whatever that thing is called. Maybe we get some kind of announcement, because they're teasing some kind of big surprise. Now, I think it's going to be another joystick, but
no, there is a big surprise. OG Xbox games. Surprise.
As far as them, playing on the Xbox?
Yeah, they're announcing some new Xbox OG, meaning the Xbox from early 2000. They're announcing some new backwards compatible games for it.
Oh, for pity's sake. That's not news, because it was news at last E3 when they said, yeah, they're going to be able to do it. That was news, but it's not news anymore, because we already know you can do it. Oh my God.
Man, this is all I'm going to say, Craig. This is all I'm going to say. We've heard all the bullshit before. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
We're now to a point where it is getting just ridiculous at this point. It's getting to the point where people are making themselves look like absolute fools when it's very clear what they want. We know you want the Sony games. Just keep it real with yourself. But instead of asking developers for something that you will not get, just go to Xbox and ask them for what you want. Do that. Why is it so hard to ask the people that you're giving money? Why is it so hard to ask them for what you want? You let them tell them. You let them tell you what you want. You know what I'm saying? They told you that exclusives were whatever. You know what I'm saying? They told you that story-based games were whatever, that they didn't have as big of an impact, you know what I'm saying, as these multiplayer empty ass experiences. Dude, they told you whatever they needed to tell you to condition your ass to be ready for these microtransactions. That's what they told you.
That's which, according to the Spider-Man announcement, they're not supposed to have any microtransactions.
Sony announced that a long time ago, though. Sony said they are not going that service-based route. They're not doing.
You're right. They did. Yeah, they doubled down on that at PSX.
If you make a good product, you don't have to worry about microtransactions.
Yeah. I just let's talk a little bit about the PS5, the leak. So what do you think? And the GPU that's garbage. Let's just write that off. There's no way it's going to be 20 T-flops. So, but what do you think about the possibility of the Ryzen 8 core? All right, first things first, help me out here. The 8 core versus the 4 core. What exactly is that talking about? Is that like a locking mechanism? Is that the way what does that do versus what does the 8 do versus the 4? Because I thought the lower the number, the better. I thought the lower the number, the better the product. That's what it seems like what's going on with
hell no. Dude, I'm gonna tell you something right now that's probably gonna blow your mind, right? You have the 4 cores, you know what I'm saying? Like the older like Intel processor chips were like 4 cores, and you had older AMDs that had 4 cores as well. But again, you also have cell phones that have octa-core processors in them. They're working with octa-core processors in them. Like, what the fuck, dude? It's to the point where the cores are like this, right? You have, let's just say you have 8 core processor, right? More than likely you're going to be able to have 16 threads, you know what I'm saying, with those 8 cores, and all of those are processing cores. So you could literally, the way my processor is set up on my on one of my computers is that you can literally cut off some of the cores if you wanted to.
Okay.
I mean, again, generally speaking, what that's supposed to do is it's supposed to take the processing power down, of course, because you're shutting off cores. But at the same time, all we needed was an 8 core processor in these fucking in these machines. The problem is we didn't have good 8 core processors. We had the Jaguar processor, which isn't a very good processor and is based off of Athlon technology. You know what I'm saying? Whoa. And if you know anything about Athlon processors, they were absolutely shit. Absolutely shit. Yeah. Almost the lowest form of a processor that you can get. The only thing that I could think of that was worse was the Intel Celeron processors.
Well, those I remember people publicly were saying those were trash.
They were trash. The Athlon is trash. The AMD, the shit starts with an S. The AMD Sempron. The AMD Sempron processor, complete fucking trash, dude. Complete trash. So the reason why we're having the issues that we're having with these consoles is not necessarily because of the GPU at all, but simply because of these raggedy ass CPUs. Now, the PlayStation 5, I'm hoping that this Ryzen this Ryzen announcement is actually true, because if it is indeed true, depending on the Ryzen that they put inside of this system, or whatever Ryzen they model this chip after, because of course it's going to be a custom chip, you know what I'm saying? Right. Whatever they model it after, hopefully we're getting something in the Ryzen 7, you know, somewhere out there. I mean, don't get me wrong, we could probably have the same experience with the Ryzen 3, but again, you don't want it to bottleneck whatever GPU you put inside of this system, and that's going to be the biggest thing, because one of the main drawbacks for the X is the fact that the processor in it is bullshit. It's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? The GPU is perfectly fine in the Xbox. Yeah. But the processor is what holds it back at every turn. There's been several different developers that have come out and said the exact same thing. And you cannot tell a developer how to develop a game. Developers may develop their game based around the CPU, or they may develop their game based around the GPU. You know what I'm saying? So these games that you're seeing that's actually hitting 4K, Those are not CPU intensive games. Those are games that are GPU intensive, which is why the Xbox is able to reach that particular metric with some of these games. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like games like PUBG will never run the way it's supposed to, because if you know PUBG, even from the PC, it's a CPU intensive game. And that's where the biggest fucking drawback is. When the system is making draw calls to the CPU and shit like that, and then making draw calls to the GPU, bro, that's where the problem is coming in. That's where the problem is established. But the problem is that, you know, we're at the end of the generation, bro. Who the fuck gives a fuck? Microsoft doesn't even give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? But for this next generation that's coming around, I want everybody to keep that same energy. You know how they said, oh, well, the reason why I got the X over the Pro is because, you know, I wanted the best multiplats, yada, 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 whatever, right? I want you to keep that same energy when the PlayStation 5 come out. And I want you to tell me the reason why you got the PlayStation 5 is because you wanted the better multiplats. Even though I think that's the dumbest fucking argument ever in history, because it's not like you're getting a different game. You're getting the same game. You're playing the same game. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, you're only sold on the idea that you have the better multiplats. You know what I'm saying? Because you clearly don't have both systems. And if you don't have both systems, how do you even know that what you got is the better version?
Yeah, so let me answer the Ryzen. So there's a Ryzen 3, 5, and 7. So is that would that be considered the generational? That the first generation is going to start with the 3, then it went to the 5 as a second generation. All right, so the one that everybody has the big hard on for, is that the second generation one, the 1600? Is the 1600, is that the first gen, or is the 1600X? Is that the second gen?
No, it's the 1700. The only reason why it has the X attached to it is because those are the chips that are unlocked and can be overclocked. So that's the difference between like the 1700 and the 1700X. Of course, the clock speeds are a little bit higher, but the X indicates that those are the ones that can be overclocked. The same way with like Intel. You know how you have like the Intel, let's say i5 2500K. The K is what symbolizes that CPU is unlocked and that CPU can be overclocked. That's really what that's for anyway. But the one that most people have is the 1700. You still got people who, I believe there's an 1800 that some people picked up, but the most people, the most I've seen is people getting the 1700 and the 1700X.
1600 and 1600X takes an L.
I'm not saying that it takes an L at all. Not at all, because from what I've heard, the Ryzen 3 and the Ryzen 5 are very good for what they're for. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because they're trying to compete with the i3, the i5, and i7, which is why they have the different variations of the chips. You know what I'm saying? So that's really what that's for. You know what I'm saying? They AMD is trying to establish themselves as true competition for Intel. You know what I mean? So they're trying to basically give you the best experience at every level.
All right, now what do you think about, because the first things first, shout out to Boxy Games UK who broke the PS5 stuff. Man, geez, 3-4 months ago. Now my buddy overseas, Lou Wafa, you all need to give him a hand too, because he told you all roughly what you were going to get. So let me ask you, Sick. There's allegedly dev kits out. I'm hearing from Lou Wafa that there's 2 dev kits. One is an APU, and the other one is a separate CPU with GPU. What is the advantage of either or, and then what's some of the downsides of either or? It's say if Sony came out and said, we got our system, it's PS5, and we got a separate CPU from our GPU. So what would you expect versus a hybrid APU? Are there advantages, disadvantages, or what do you think?
There is, because if you're using an APU or a system on chip or whatever you want to call it, then you're basically sharing the total amount of memory that you have in the system. Whereas if you have a separate CPU and GPU, the GPU is going to have its own dedicated video memory, whereas the CPU can actually make draw calls from the standard memory that's on the board. That's one of the biggest issues and the biggest drawbacks, because have you ever noticed the Xbox One X has 12 gigabytes of memory, right? But it's
Right.
only able to utilize about 8 gigabytes of that memory because it's shared memory between the entire system. Whereas, let's say Sony comes out with a system that has 16 gigabytes of memory, just system memory, and then
Okay.
the GPU that they have that's separate, which I highly doubt that they're gonna have a separate system with separate CPU and GPU. It's just not
Right.
gonna be cost effective. You know what I'm saying? So I highly doubt that that's gonna be something that they work with. But the GPU will have its own memory, its own set of memory. So the 1060 that I have in one of my computers here, that has
Mhm.
6 gigabytes of memory. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It has 6 gigabytes of memory by itself, and that's not even to mention the 16 gigabytes that I have in my computer itself. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh,
the
okay. So separately, you got those little strip-looking things, and they got 2 8s in there, or 116, or how did you set that up? Or 4 4s?
That's correct. No, in my system, I have 2 8 gigabyte sticks.
Okay, and then the GPU itself separately has the ability to store more.
It has
Um,
its own
okay,
separate it has its own separate memory on the video card itself. So
okay,
that's the VRAM. That's the video RAM.
okay. So total, you got 22, give or take.
Yeah.
The 16 plus the 6. Okay, yeah. So the 1060. All right, now your computer at that can it run a 4K at 4K native, or what do you normally like to play at on your
Yeah,
PC?
I could run at 4K native, but I don't do it on this PC. I got a 1080 in my other computer with a 7700.
Oh,
And I could run 4K easily, but on this 1060, this
mhm.
1060 that I have runs everything better than the Xbox One X. Everything. And it has listen, and it has an old ass 8350 AMD FX 8350, which was the bulldozer line for AMD. And it runs everything significantly better than the Xbox One X.
Yeah, nah, wow. Versus the APU, which is where we're at now with with all the consoles, the Xbox One S, X, and the PS4 and the Pro. That's
Absolutely.
APU, right? Okay.
It's more cost efficient to do it that way. It's more cost efficient to do it that way, and I would suspect that they're going to continue doing that moving forward. I mean, I could be wrong, but I definitely do think that they're going to continue doing that moving forward.
Yeah. Well, I'll break some news now. Naughty Dog is working on a PS5 game.
I
Just
heard.
telling everybody now. Their next game that they've because The Last of Us, the parts that are done. For anybody who doesn't know, when the developer team are in sick, you probably know, and you all know this in the chat too. When they get done, they just don't sit by with their idle hands. They move them to something else. So Naughty Dog has moved them to a game that's going to basically be Sony's version of Mass Effect. They're going to do pretty much a game similar to Mass Effect. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be Mass Effect. It's going to be in that style because there are no games right now. And right now, we don't know if it's going to be exclusive or not. They are making them. They're starting another game though for their PS5. They're already doing whatever it's called, the mapping. I don't know what that shit's called, but but they're doing that right now. That's because Naughty Dog they're finishing up the Last of Us 2. They're not touching up. They're in the last stages of that game. We should see a lot more. Hell, I guess at E3 in 6 more weeks, whenever it is. So, and they may have an announcement then, but you are going to see gameplay, I believe, at E3. If not, then what's that other one? Paris Games Week. Definitely at Paris Games Week. So, but they're scheduled for E3. I'll go ahead, Sid. Go ahead, brother.
No. I was just saying absolutely. I mean, I've heard about the new IP that Naughty Dog is working on, and you have to understand, Naughty Dog is being paid a lot of fucking money, bro, to do what they do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's very clear that Sony has the checkbook open for Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog
Yeah.
could tell them they wanted to shit on a fucking stick or something like that, and Sony would be like, you know what? Go ahead and do it. I believe in you. I trust in you. You know what I'm saying? And they are already in the testing phase for The Last of Us 2, which is crazy. because last time Neil Druckmann gave us an update, he said they were only like 60% finished. So I would imagine at this point they're somewhere, in the realm of like 80 to 85% done at this point, which is
Yeah.
very good because we know that it's for sure going to come out in 2019. I definitely don't think we're going to see anything from Last of Us this year. And also Naughty Dog's new IP that they're working on. I did hear that it was going to be a first-person shooter, which I thought was
Yeah.
kind of crazy because I'm like, damn, that's weird. I've never seen Naughty Dog do a first-person shooter, and I guess we'll just have to see what happens, man. I guess we'll have to see
Yeah,
what
because
happens.
they gave us I guess the Uncharted 4. They gave us the my God, the Uncharted collection. They've given us the
Jack and
Lost
Dexter.
Legacy. Yeah. Jack and that for this gen, and then then they're going to give us Last of Us. So they are working. People said Naughty Dog hasn't done a whole lot this gen. I'm like, no, you all are forgetting about Uncharted 4, the Uncharted collection, which they remastered
Lost
the
Legacy.
Last of Us. Yeah, and the Last Legacy. So they've been busy. That's a busy developer. So, but yeah, they deserve the right to walk into Sony's offices and say, look, we want to try something different. And yeah, I agree with you, Sick. I'm sure Sony said, sure, call us when you're ready to show us something.
Yeah,
That's pretty much. Gorilla's got the new dev. Back to the dev kit. Gorilla's got a new dev kit. CD Projekt Red allegedly has a dev kit. 60-40 on Rockstar having a new dev kit, and he's pretty confident. Did I say Ubi? I already said Ubi. So, but there's 4 to 6 dev kits out there for everybody in the chat. Everybody have seen this story. The dev kits are out, okay, and they've been out. So they're already moving. Kojima's got one of the new dev kits. That's who the other one was. He's got one. I mean, come on, it's Kojima, for Christ's sake. So but he's still using the Decima engine. But remember, folks, he's already hybrided that engine. It took him about 6 to 10 weeks to hybrid that engine to get what we got. The Decima engine was also used in Killzone, which is hard to believe when you look at Killzone 4, I guess, Shadow Warrior, Shadowfall. When you look at Killzone, and then you look at a game like with Aloy, and which, I mean, that's the same engine. That's the same base engine. They just are manipulating the tool different. So that's amazing. How those I still to this day, and I watched Finding Aloy on YouTube. I'm still amazed at how they went from the drawing boards and how they got it to work. That's just all that the tools all work together. That's amazing. So I should have went into computers. My God, I should have followed my dream and said I went into the medical field because everybody's going to get sick. That was the pitch. Everybody's going to get sick. We don't know where this computer thing is going. I mean, that's how old I am. You just did not know where the computer thing was going, and everybody was going to get sick. So so yeah, I went to where everybody was getting sick. So my bad. If I could have had to do it over again, if I get the Marty McFly car, I'm going into the method, going to computers. But yeah. So let me ask you: if these kits are out, when do you think? Not when would you like to see? When do you think we will get some type of hint of an announcement, or just when you think they'll drop the PS5? Either one or both.
2020, 2021. I'm convinced of that because I think they're going to drop all of the games that we've been seeing. I think they're going to drop that on the PS4, and then I think a lot of those games are going to be upgraded and resold on the PS5, or they're going to be forwards compatible with the PS5. One of two things. It all depends on how Sony's feeling at the end of this generation, and it also depends on what the market will accept at the end of this generation. So Sony might be like, hey, if you got a PS4 and you own this game, give us $10 and you can upgrade to the PS5 version. You know what I mean? So that may happen, but I think the PlayStation 5 isn't going to come out until after all of the games have released for this generation. You there, Craig? Yo, Craig, you there? Okay, Houston, I think we have a problem. I'm not sure what it is, but I do not hear Craig. I don't know if you guys hear me. Shit, where Craig at? Yeah, yo, people in the chat, can y'all hear me? I'm not sure what happened to Craig. Craig just disappeared. Okay, well, shit. I guess I'm still here. I'm not. You know what? Let me check and see if he's still in the hangout because he might be going from the hangout. Oh, okay. I think I hear you. I think I hear you, Craig. Where you at? Where you at, Craig?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Yeah, I don't know what happened. That was just, I don't know what happened. Oh, we're sorry, folks. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I was sitting here listening, and all of a sudden the screen went blank. You know.
Hey, man. OBJ the Don, bruh. It is very clear that Sony is on some true gang shit. Sony right now, they are rocking that blue rag, that blue flag, man. Like they got their foot on Microsoft's neck, man, and they are not letting up, bro. They are not letting up, and it's getting so bad to the fact to the point where the fans of Microsoft's console are now getting upset at Sony for offering great games and great exclusives to their fans. And then Sony has even doubled down and said that they're going to focus solely on not solely, but they're doubling down on their first party output. So if they're mad now, they're going to be a lot mad or a lot more mad in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Can you all hear me right now?
Yeah, we
can. Okay. Yeah. Generally, when you're talking, the mic kind of pulsates, and mine was just there. It was just kind of sitting there. So that's the damnedest thing I've ever seen in my life. So well, it was technology for you. So, but I hit the like button, folks. Despite the technical difficulty, we're still bringing you the heat. So yeah. Now, what were you saying about the dev kits? Because we just got. Oh, what were you saying about when they were coming out? Because that's when everything went haywire.
Gotcha.
Is when yeah.
2020, 2021. I don't think Sony is going to drop the new console until all of their games have been released that they've promised for this generation. So until after that last game drops, which I believe the last game that's coming out is going to be Death Stranding, or they might want to leave off this generation the way they left off the PS3 generation. So they might leave off with The Last of Us 2. Either way, it doesn't really matter. And you know what? I think they will leave off with with Last of Us 2. I'm gonna tell you why. Because they have Days Gone that's gonna release, right? Which is a zombie game or based on zombies. And then you have Death Stranding, which is something totally different. And then you have Last of Us 2, which is basically like another zombie game, but it's not zombies. They're infected with some type of disease. So it only makes sense that they would release that, you know, as that would be the final blow at the end of the generation. Last of Us 2.
All right, then let me ask you, if everybody in the chat too, you all do realize that I think every game that Sony has shown at E3 has got their release date now. I mean, am I making a mistake? Because last year we saw Spider-Man, we saw Gran Turismo. Is that so? What do you think we'll see at E3? Because I mean, I'm sure we'll get more gameplay. But Detroit will be out. God of War will be out. Spider-Man is coming. What do you think we'll get at E3? But Last of Us 2, of course. But do you think we'll get the Sucker Punch IP, Ghost of Tsushima thing, or what do you think? Or do you think we start getting back on that train of when those games get released? What do you think, Sid?
Well, we've knocked out 3 big games. We've knocked out God of War, we've knocked out Spider-Man, and we've knocked out Detroit Become Human, right? As much as I don't want this to happen because I'm tired of seeing the same games at E3, I know they're probably going to bring back Ghost of Tsushima so that people can see gameplay. I'm definitely thinking that they're bringing back The Last of Us so people can see gameplay. I'm definitely thinking that they're going to give us an update on Days Gone. I definitely do believe that. And I definitely do believe we're going to get an update on Death Stranding. However, I don't want that to be the main focus of the conference. You know, I really want them to announce something new. I don't give a fuck when that bitch is coming out, but just announce something else. Give me 1 second. My phone is going off. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, I hear it. Yeah, I hear it. Yeah, you good. You good. So yeah, they've. I personally think I don't know what Sony's going to show at E3 now because I literally thought they were going to walk out. Here's what I thought they were going to do with Spider-Man until Lou Waffle got a hold of me this morning. I thought Spider-Man they were going to wait till E3. I hate saying that. Walk out on stage, show you a 3 to 5 minute gameplay demo, and then before they left off the stage, had the release date, and then them say Spider-Man's being shipped to your store right now. It should hit your door Thursday or Friday. I thought that's what they were going to do. But now that's just my opinion. When Lou Waffle got in touch with me and said, nah, bro, it looks like it's going to be a fall release. And I'm like, to what? Why are they going in the fall? He just said, well, they want kind of they want a game to kick the door in for the fall. At least that's what I was told. So and he was right. Shout out to Randall Thor as well, because he called September as well. Let's give credit where credit is due. He called it 24 hours ago. I called it this morning after I talked to Lou Waffle when I was streaming Mass Effect. I said it's going to be. I'm leaning towards September. That's why I said hopefully it's in August around my birthday. But I was wrong about that. Shout out to J-Dub City too. That he said I was his source, and everybody thought we were going to get April, May, June, and then walk into E3, like that. But we got. But that's what I'm saying. I don't know what's going to happen in June. Are you back yet sick? Or are you still on the phone? I guess he's still on the phone. So yeah, what do you all in the chat think? Do you all like the September date, or do you think it's because it's 6 months away? So do you think that that's a good release date? Do you think or are you disappointed? Did you want a June release date or July? I saw somebody Andrew said August. Yeah, I wanted August because that's my birthday month. So Rand's an insider at Sony. Yeah. They do have a Halo VR in the works. Yeah, they're going to announce Halo VR, which means that they are following through. Now, whether it be Halo on Oculus VR or Vive, or will Microsoft have a first-party one? That's that's what we're waiting on. So, Halo Reach 2 launching on PS5. Oh, get out of here! You think of Bloodborne 2? Okay, that wouldn't be bad. Would you like it for this gen or for the PS5 though? I mean, because if they announce PS5 in 19, it will come out in 2020. So that thing will start getting mass produced probably in July of next year. Next E3 they'll announce it's in production, and it'll hit in early 2020. So we'll have to wait and see. Well, I'm counting gaming media. You're right, but you're not counting April. This is April 4th. So April, May, June, July, August. All right, I see what you're saying. Yeah, all right, 5 months away. All right, I got you. So cross-gen. What do you think, if it is cross-gen, what do you think the big upgrade from the Pro will be to the PS5? Okay, that's kind of the way you got to that's the way I look at it. Is it going to be that big of a jump from the Pro? We look at a game like Horizon Zero Dawn and Detroit Become Human. You all seen screenshots of that. Graphically, where else can they take it? What do you all think about that? A suffering game? Oh, that suffering game money, Mike, is over on the Xbox. They're the ones that are suffering for their games. Yeah, Microsoft's E3. Well, yeah, let me give him my big Xbox 2 new guys. I forgot all about this. I mean, taking him so far back. Four things on Xbox 2 that have been, that I've got from my inside source. Not Lou Waffa. He's in Germany. He doesn't know about Xbox. My Xbox source has confirmed 4 things for the new Xbox. And I'm going to put this on Twitter after the podcast. So Gaming Buzz. First thing, how you doing, Gaming Buzz? I'm glad you're here, brother. But Xbox 2. So here are your updates. I mean, you're going to get 4 big things on the new Xbox, according to my source. 1, you're going to get a giant sponge to help you not be moist. Now, I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know if you're going to put it around your Xbox. I don't know. I mean, you may put it on yourself. That's a good thing. Number 2, you're going to get a special 4K knife to help spread the third thing, the big jar of butter that will come in that box, okay? The new Xbox 2 will come in a box the same size as the original Xbox One. And finally, the big thing that you're getting is not Xbox Live. You are going to actually get coupons for those crescent rolls, where that little bitty white thing you hit in its stomach and it goes, you're going to get coupons for that thing, okay? So you're going to get crescent rolls, butter, a 4K knife, and then whatever the hell else I just said. So, and a sponge. I mean, the size of the sponge is going to be enormous, because you can see how moist they're acting right now on Twitter. So they need a giant sponge. Now, I personally think the sponge will be a little bit bigger than the Duke controller, but it may be smaller, because you know how Xbox likes to roll. So again, those are the 4 things you're getting on the new Xbox 2. And so the people because I did promise that yesterday on the J-Wags podcast. So shout out to J-Wags and everybody was on that podcast, Fatal and the rest of those guys. But just so you know that that's what we're getting, And well, I don't know if the butter is going to be 4K. The knife that comes in the kit will be 4K. So, but those are the things. Sick, are you there, buddy? I thought I heard something on the other side there. But that's what I needed to let you guys know. So who's 680 subs? 680 subs. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm close to 700 subs. And if I get 700 subs, I will then do a 25-hour straight gaming podcast. 12.5 on the Xbox, on Twitch and Mixer, and then the other 12 will be on the PlayStation. It will be Mass Effect. That's what it will be. That's what I can stay up and play. I can't play nothing else. So, but Sick, are you there, brother?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Now, what did you think about what that new Xbox 2 is going to have on it? Those 4 things they're going to have that I announced.
Right now, you're right. They do need a sponge. I mean, they definitely need a butter knife so they can spread that butter, man. Quite frankly, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do with that new Xbox. Hopefully they give their fans something. I mean, me personally, I'm not getting the next iteration of the Xbox. I'm done. I'm burnt out with the Xbox, bro. So I'm not gonna get it. I don't care about the new tech in it. I don't care about nothing that Xbox has to offer until they show me that they're serious about gaming again. So,
well, I mean, again, you're gonna get a coupon for that Pillsbury Doughboy. So that way you can,
I'm all right. I'm all right. I think I'll live. I'm already experiencing greatness, so I think I'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? I got Nintendo, they keeping me warm on the go. I got PlayStation, they keeping me warm while I'm home. And then I have the PC if I want the actual best version of the multiplats.
Yeah, so I can't deny when I saw that Far Cry running at was like 100 frames. I'm like, how fast is this going again? Because I can't. It's hard for me to translate 100 frames per second looking at it. It was like real time. You know, it was just the best way I could put it. You know, and it was pretty neat in a way. And it was he was actually trying to shoot down the. You know, you got to shoot down a helicopter or something like that in that, or a certain amount of helicopters. So he was trying to shoot them down. So it was pretty cool. So, but yeah, Trey BK put a bunch of moisture in the chat. Yeah, I mean that's the sad thing, Trey BK. So it's they you know, maybe it'll come with the DLC of an umbrella. I mean, I just don't know. So and I mean, because walking around, you know, good God Almighty, or what's that? We used to call that stuff Mr. Bubble. It may come with that too. We just don't know. So,
Google should purchase the Xbox brand. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Xbox brand. It's just the people at the helm of the Xbox brand right now I don't know what the fuck they're doing. So Microsoft, you know, if they're really tired of this game and shit, just let Google take over, man. Let Google do their thing.
Yeah, because Google will throw everything at it. If Google were to get their hands on the Xbox, if you're a pony, then yeah, you would. I would worry. I mean, I'm not. I got both systems, thank goodness. So, but you know, I'm halfway there on my PC. So, but yeah, Google would worry me because those guys got into business to put Oracle out of business, and Oracle is the shit. People don't know about those guys, but Oracle, that is the shit. So
those are the ones who use Java. I don't think they can get rid of Oracle. Oracle has it has a stranglehold on the industry.
Yes.
Everything that you use uses Java. Everything that you use uses Java. So until they can find an alternative to Java, that's never going to happen.
Yeah, which I don't disagree because that's what you're learning. People are learning that in school. At Java, you're getting that day one. Bam, here you go. But yeah, well, man, you got anything else to add? I mean, we've touched on a whole lot of stuff. We know now why there's no Spider-Man coming to Xbox. Well, quite frankly, this is the same reason why Cuphead's not coming to PlayStation. The developer don't want it to. End of story. That's it. It's over.
That's it.
You know, so, yeah.
And you could either be mad or you can buy the console to play it on. And me personally, I feel like you should just buy the console to play it on. If you truly want to play a game, don't let the barriers of a console stop you. If you want to wait to see if that game is ever going to come to your platform, then go ahead and do that. Go ahead and wait. Play the waiting game.
Yeah, just don't complain when you're waiting because it's right there. I can see if Sony said in order for you to in order for you to eat dinner tonight, you have to buy a PlayStation 5. That's anti-consumer. But they just you walk into the store, it's there. If you got the money to buy it, you buy it. So congratulations on your PS4 there. Jordan said he got a PS4. Cool. So all right then, man. Well, I tell you what, we've been going for a little over an hour and had a little technical difficulty, but we made it through. And so bro, I appreciate you coming through. I know you got to work tonight, you said. So
yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and get on up out of here. But go ahead and shout yourself out, man.
Well, once again, it's your boy Penn from Sick Humor TV. You can find me at youtube.com/Sick Humor TV or twitch.tv/Sick Humor TV or twitter.com/Sick Humor TV. I do a lot of live streams. Again, I got other stuff going on, but if you feel like you want to subscribe, if you feel like I'm somebody you want to listen to, go ahead and definitely hit that subscribe button. I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, go ahead and you all go ahead and sub to Sick, man. He's dropping some knowledge over there. And he's always a willing guest to come on, and he always invites people on, and he's good, entertaining, fun. He'll have a shout out to him, Ian Robertson, who's over there. Ian's got to speak up a little bit more. You can barely hear him sometimes. But and then Fatal Mephisto, always keeping it real over there. The former pirate of the high seas who's retired because of the grind. He's found pirate life to be too hard. So he retired. He docked his boat. Peter Pan and him are at the bar drinking. So, all right, then. Well, yeah, this is your boy. It's Craig Harris. You know me, the messiah of Xbox. Just here, Spider-Man dropping, the Xbox fanboys going completely turn into jelly. You all can see that for yourself on Twitter. And it's just going to get worse. because Sony's not going to quit announcing exclusive games like Sick alluded to, and they're just going to get worse. I mean, when God of War comes out next week, they'll be waiting for Digital Foundry to tear it down so that they can say, oh, look, it's not doing this good. I mean, just telling you all this because this is going to happen. Just ignore it and hit your start button and play your games. Okay, and I actually need to go back up to Best Buy because I forgot to write down. I didn't take my notes in there to write down the TV stuff because it's Wednesday, and you all know the sales always start on Wednesday. Is today Wednesday? Yeah, it's Wednesday, and the sales always start on Wednesday. So, all right then, guys, we're gonna get on up out of here. And Game Buzz, I'm glad you're back and you're feeling better. Appreciate it. Game Buzz is the one that came up with the Xbox community wants to play the same games as the Sony community. They just want to buy. They only want to play it on the Xbox. He said that over a year ago, and he's Nostradamus because that's exactly what was panning out in front of him. So he's the one that dropped that knowledge on me, and I'm the one dropping it on you all. So, and that's the way it works. Okay, he really, when he said that, I thought it was a throwaway line, but the brother was on point. Okay, he was on point. So you all need to give him a shout out there in the chat and sub to him on Twitter because he's giving out good information too. But all right, guys, I'm going to get on up out of here. This is Craig Harris with Sick Humor, and thanks for coming on again, Sick. It was short notice. I appreciate it.
No problem.
We're going to get up out of here. I got to charge my stick and play some games. And remember, play the games, like not the corporations, like Foxy Game says. Take it easy, guys. Peace.
Take it easy.